Hey, what's up, guys? We're gonna have some fun tonight. I promise. Looking forward to talking to you all, and I'm gonna do some question and answer. We're gonna talk real estate investing. We're gonna talk business. We're gonna talk life. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you are watching this right now, jump over to mariodatillo.tv. This is being broadcasted on a bunch of different platforms like Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, all those places, but you're going to get a much better stream over on YouTube. So make sure you're over there. We're going to talk real estate. Hey, also, if you are watching this right now, jump over to mariodatillo.tv. You're going to get a better stream there. And while you're there, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. But mariodatillo.tv, we're going to do some live Q&A. I'm going to be answering your questions. When you post questions in the chat, I'm going to be able to see it and answer it. I'm going to be talking real estate, business, all that good stuff. So I see people hopping on, which is awesome. Hey guys, what's happening? If you are just hopping on, would love to hear. Drop in the chat what you're doing in real estate, or if you're looking to get into real estate. And love to hear from you where you're chiming in from. Also, if you're just hopping on, go to mariodatillo.tv. And you're going to get a much better stream there on YouTube versus the other platforms. And I'm going to be able to chat with you better there as well. So, yeah, looking forward to talking tonight. It is late, 9 o'clock. Just got back from the gym, been doing some MMA, some Muay Thai training with my brother. And he was out hurt today, which was fun. So I was fighting somebody, training with somebody else, and it's always fun to do that. And I'm always the smallest guy too, which is funny because I'm up against these bigger guys, and we weren't sparring hard or anything, but you know, they definitely have the weight and size advantage. So, anyways, hey guys, if you are just hopping on, I'm talking real estate, business. Feel free to drop in the chat where you're at and kind of what you're investing in or what you want to invest in. I'd love to hear from you. And also, if you've got any questions, hey Emma, what's going on? Good to have you on. And Emma's awesome. She works for a lending group that does mobile home park lending and other commercial real estate lending. So good to have you on, Emma. She's always doing some really cool LinkedIn videos too that I like. So, hey guys, if you're just hopping on, let me know what you're investing in. Let me know what you're buying. If you're looking at real estate or own real estate, I'd love to hear from you. Also, I want to make sure to answer your questions. The best place I can do that is over on YouTube. Going to mariodatillo.tv. Go there, and you're going to be able to chat with me live. And I'm answering real estate questions, or business questions. Let's get into it. And Emma said, I'm in Ohio. So let me, I figured something out here that's pretty sweet. I can actually make these comments pop up on the screen. So there she is. What's up, Emma? And she's in Ohio. But guys, hey, if you're just hopping on, let's talk real estate. Let's talk business. And let me know what you've got going on. So I'm looking at something on a phone, and it looks like we got a bunch of people chimed in on Instagram as well. Looks like Facebook. Oh, and what's cool is it looks like it's transcribing my voice. So it's cool. All right, let me get into it because I'm just chatting too much. So right now we are working. We've been working pretty hard this week. We had our Q2 leadership meeting, which is always awesome. We get to talk about what we've got going on in the company. We look at how we did last quarter, and how we're doing this, how we're going to do this quarter, what we need to do, set new KPIs, and just make some big decisions. We also set up different projects for each leader in the company so that they're going to work on over the next 90 days. I personally love quarterly meetings because it's like the opportunity to restart, refresh, and start over and really set big goals. And it allows me to kind of do that whole vision thing and set the pace, set the bar of where the team needs to go. So, hey guys, if you're just hopping on, make sure that you chime in on the chat. I'd recommend you go to mariodatillo.tv, which is the YouTube channel, and you're going to be able to chat with me a lot better live there. You'll get a better stream, better quality on YouTube, so mariodatillo.tv. But drop in the chat where you are, what you're investing in. Maybe if you got some real estate questions or business questions, I'm an open book tonight, so you can ask me anything and I'm going to answer it. Careful. But I want to make sure that I'm adding as much value to you guys as possible. So I've been doing these on a weekly basis, a couple times a week. So what do you guys got for questions on the real estate or business or investing front? Personal finance, personal development, you could drop that in the chat as well. And again, if you go to mariodatillo.tv, you're going to get a much better connection, and I can see your messages better. Where if you're, let's see here, if you are messaging me on Facebook or Instagram, you are not going, I'm going to have a harder time seeing you. So make sure that, make sure you're over there. You know what? I totally forgot to get onto Instagram. So here we go. I'm going live. And we're good. So what do you guys got going on? What are you investing in? Where are you checked in from? And I would love to help you out, love to answer some questions. So what do you guys got going? All right. So we've got, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, jump over there and ask me questions. I just got a message. Awesome, Emma. She said, let's see, she said, can you tell us about the mastermind in the MHP sector? So I think what she's asking me about is myself and two others, Katerina and Paul Stout, have a group called the MHP Tribe. And what we do is we educate people on mobile home park investing. And we also have a mastermind behind that as well. So I think that's what she's asking about. We've got a really good group of people that are actively investing in real estate, specifically mobile home parks. They've been through the course. But I want to mention too, MHP Tribe. If you go to mhptribe.com or the Facebook MHP Tribe Facebook group, it's totally free. You can join those groups. And we do a Monday call free, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. It's a bunch of mobile home park operators that just talk shop, and we help people either buy their first park or buy their 10th park. And it's a really good group. And the mastermind is kind of an invite-only thing. And that's not the Monday nights. But yeah, thanks for asking about that, Emma. Hey guys, if you're just hopping on, jump over to mariodatillo.tv for the best live stream, and let's talk real estate, let's talk business. So one thing that I think is pretty interesting that a lot of people ask about is how is your management company structured? How do you guys like handle meetings? How do you guys, what's your structure? And so we have an investment company that invests in the real estate. So that entity takes ownership. It's a general partner in all the investments that we make. That's Real Estate Acquisitions USA. And then we've got a company called Celebrate Communities, which is our property management division, or property management company, I should say. Separate company, common ownership. And we've got a team of management professionals there that operate all of our manufactured home communities. And yeah, so within that group, we've got community managers, we've got an accountant, we've got a sales manager, we've got a project manager, we've got a head of property management, and we're actually hiring for a regional, an administrative assistant, an administrative assistant in the management company. I forgot to mention on the investment side, I'm actually hiring a junior acquisition manager and a senior acquisition manager. Junior manager just means they do not have a lot of experience, and we train them. And then the senior acquisition manager has experience in commercial real estate, and they step right in. So anyways, but yeah, and then we've also got a brokerage arm, which is the REA group. And that brokerage brokers commercial real estate, primarily mobile home parks and self-storage facilities, because that's what we're buying. And that's kind of a unique business model. When we pass on deals from an investment standpoint, then we often will broker those deals off market to buyers. And so it's a great lead source. If you guys are buying mobile home parks or self-storage, make sure to connect with me, because we can get you lead flow off market. And it's pretty straightforward. But that's our brokerage arm, the REA group. And then we've also got a dealership, which is Celebrate Homes, and that dealership functions as a source for homes. And what's up, Fire Soulful? I'm not sure what your real name is, but welcome. If you got questions, I'd recommend you jump over to mariodatillo.tv. That's the YouTube channel, and I can answer your questions live over there. But anyway, so yeah, we've got the dealership arm, and what we do there is we actually buy homes, both new and used, and we then put them into our communities, or manufactured home communities, and then we sell those homes to residents, and then they pay us lot rent, because our communities are lot rent communities. So pretty cool. But what's neat about that dealership is that we're buying manufactured homes directly from the manufacturers, brand new, at wholesale prices. And that allows us to also sell those homes to residents at very reasonable prices. Our whole goal with the manufactured home sales is not to make huge profits on the sales. It's really to fill our communities up, which is where you get lot rent. And on the lot rent, we get a multiple. So that cash flow that comes from the lot rent gets valued on a cap rate, it's called. And that is a multiple of the income. So basically, if I generate $1 worth of net operating income, meaning after expenses, it's, depending on the cap rate, could be 10, could be 13, could be $15 in value for every dollar of income that we produce. So the whole goal is to fill as many lots as possible to generate the lot income and exponentially grow the value of those communities because of the cash flow. So we do sell our homes at really reasonable prices to residents in our communities, which is pretty cool. Keeps it affordable for them. And hey, I'd also like to know, are you guys going to the MHI conference in Orlando next week? Drop it in the chat if you are. I'd love to see you there. I'm planning on going. I'm 95% sure I'll be there. And it should be a really good time. Hey, if you're just hopping on and you're watching, drop some questions about real estate in the chat. Or if you want, go ahead and jump over to mariodatillo.tv, where you're going to get a much better stream, and I can see your chat better there as well. Because just so you know, I can't see Facebook and Instagram chats real time. So if you're chatting with me there, you got to jump over to the YouTube channel, mariodatillo.tv, ask your questions, and I'd love to answer them for you. Anything real estate, anything business, been in business since 2002, and been in real estate since a few years after that. So I'm happy to help you guys. And so anyways, what I was talking, let's see here. You're going to have a booth. Emma said she's going to have a booth at the MHI conference, which is cool, in Orlando. So looking forward to seeing you there. All right. So going on with what I was talking about is we buy these homes, we bring them in, we set them up, and then we sell them. We produce income based on that. And that's really how our 4 companies operate. It's investment, management, brokerage, and dealership to supply homes. And it's been a really great business for us. Hey, Kyle, what's going on, man? Let's see here. He said, are you concerned with the rise in interest rates when folks model out a refinance within the first 2 to 5 years of owning a park? Yeah. I mean, so what's happening, and what Kyle's talking about, that's a really good question. There's a lot of people who are buying real estate, not even just parks, but they're buying real estate with the expectation that things are going to stay the same. And the problem with that is it's not going to. We already are seeing that. And what's happening is those interest rates are ticking up, and they're expecting the interest rates to continue to tick up. And people are going to get hurt. So I think the biggest lesson there is to make sure that whatever you're buying, you're using conservative numbers, you're modeling it out in a conservative way. If you're buying at, let's say, 4.25%, 4.5%, which is about where rates are right now on commercial real estate, you need to be figuring a bit higher than that and assume that it's going to go up probably at least 1%, maybe even more within the next couple of years. So, and just to be clear, that's not a prediction. I'm not predicting those rates. I'm just telling you, you need to be predicting at a higher interest rate than what you're going in at, so that if interest rates do tick up at fair amount, you're safe. And I don't see a lot of people doing that right now. They're kind of figuring, and also cap rates. So that's one place where people are, taking some risk, is they're buying at ridiculously low cap rates. And then what they do is they assume that the cap rates are going to be the same when they sell. There's a problem with that, because they're probably not going to. We've had an artificially low interest rates, and we've had artificially low cap rates. So as those interest rates tick up, cap rates follow interest rates, because people are buying on a spread, right? They're buying the spread between the debt and their capital costs, essentially, and the cap rate. So it's really important that you're conservative in your underwriting and figuring future cap rates and future interest rates being higher than what they are today. Emma said, how long of a backlog are you experiencing with the home inventory? Great question. Interesting, though, we have one supplier right now that's quoting us at 3 months, and we're obviously a little bit, we're assuming they're not gonna perform at that speed. But typically, right now, most of the manufacturers are saying 9 months to a year to get homes. Historically, we used to be able to order a home and get it in 60 days, maybe. It was really fast. And what's happened is, they're just backed up. They're super backed up. It's a combination of materials. It's a combination of labor. It's a combination of demand. And so it's really a problem, and speaking of, Kyle had a really good question, man. So you got me started on something. With people being really aggressive in the market right now, what they're doing is they're also assuming that they're going to be able to get homes at the same rate that they used to get homes. So they're buying these communities with lower occupancy, and then they're saying, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to have 20 new homes ordered and delivered in 4 months. And you're like, no, you're not. So you need to also assume construction costs are higher, and you got to assume that your home orders are going to be slower, and your setup's going to be slower and more expensive. Everything's more expensive and slower right now, put it that way. So just be really conservative, because otherwise you're going to get hurt, especially if you're going in and paying ridiculously low cap rates. And people are paying stupid cap rates on stabilized assets. And I just can't figure out the numbers on, like, how are they doing that and at least breaking even on the cash flow? But then if they've got aggressive, what do you call it? Performas and business plans, we might be buying some parks from some folks in the future, which should be fun. But I don't want that to happen to you. So anyways, what questions do you guys have? These are really good questions. And Emma said, yeah, they're changing every week, the rates. The other thing is, so not only are the timelines changing, but the prices are changing. For a while there, we could not get a fixed quote on homes, because what was happening was the manufacturers were saying, we will quote it, but we're going to re-quote you right when that home gets ready to go on the line to be built. So, it's just very unpredictable right now. But the good thing is, if you can source used homes and new homes and just be conservative, you can do really well. I like self-storage too. We own some self-storage. I don't talk about that a lot because I don't manage it. And so, I think part of it is out of sight, out of mind, which is a really good thing. I like that. But, we do own some self-storage in Florida and Texas, and looking at some more storage right now. And so I'm curious if anybody owns mobile home parks, self-storage, any commercial real estate, even residential real estate. I'd love to hear what you're buying or what you own, if you're renting it or flipping it. I got a podcast coming out soon, which is going to be sweet. It's going to come out around beginning of May. I got to hurry up though, because I got a lot of work to do for that. But it's going to be a podcast where I'm going to bring on entrepreneurs and investors that have either started businesses and blown them up to be big companies, or bought existing businesses, or built large real estate portfolios. And so I'm going to make sure that's a really interesting podcast for everybody. I'm going to go behind the scenes, find out what the heck they're doing that's helping them become successful. And I think you guys are going to get a lot of value out of that. But I'm going to be interviewing people, not just in the mobile home park space, but we're going to talk all real estate types, business types, and everything, because I think you can actually learn a lot by looking at other industries and other businesses and other property types, and then implement them inside your business that you're in. So I would highly recommend to tune into that. And what did you say, Kyle? Podcasts are rad. Make sure you let us know the name of it, because I'll definitely listen. Thank you, dude. Appreciate the support. And so it's going to be called the Mario Datillo Show. Nothing fancy. And we're doing that from a marketing and branding standpoint. We were throwing out all these crazy ideas on, what we want to call it. And, I thought there were some pretty good names that came to the table, but really what it came down to is, what are people going to remember? What's the easiest? And what is going to tie into my existing branding? And so we're going Mario Datillo Show. I will have a sub YouTube channel as well, where you'll be able to see the video stream. And I got a new website coming out right around the time of the launch of the podcast. That's going to be a little scary, having multiple things kick off around the same time. But I'm going to have a website where that'll all be streaming as well. So that'll just be like Mario Datillo, MarioDatilloShow.com or something like that. I haven't even bought the domain yet. But anyways, don't go buy that. Okay. Just kidding. I own that one already. Anyways, so the podcast is going to be awesome. And I think what people need to recognize, especially in real estate, we kind of get into these routines where we get into single family flipping, we get into wholesaling, we get into mobile home parks or apartments or whatever. And we learn how to buy that asset and manage that asset, and then we stop. We just go, okay, I know how to do it. And we do it the same way consistently over a long period of time. And the problem with that is we aren't competitive, okay? And we're not doing things at our peak performance. There's a lot of things that I think the mobile home park world can learn from apartments. And I think there's a lot that the apartment world can learn from mobile home parks as well. Same thing with storage and office and industrial. There's a lot of things that are happening in other property types, let alone other businesses, that we can take advantage of. And so that's my whole goal, is to get you to think differently, get you to think bigger, and learn from people who are building just massive businesses or portfolios and are doing it on a big level. What's up, Richard? How's it going, man? Good to have you on. Thanks for the support, and I hope I can answer some more questions for you tonight. Man, I love the people who hop onto these lives every time I do them, because it allows me to kind of get to know you guys better, hopefully answer your questions, keep adding value to you. And anyways, so hey guys, if you got real estate questions, make sure that you're dropping them in the chat. If you are not on the YouTube channel, you need to, you need to jump over there, because that is where you're going to get the best live stream. And I can actually see your questions popping up in the chat as you post them. And I want to be able to answer your questions. Last week, I didn't know it, but I had a bunch of questions on Facebook after I hopped off, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't even know those were there. So if you are not on the YouTube side, make sure to jump on over there. Anyway, so yeah, we've got the podcast coming out May 1st. And then also I've got some new YouTube videos coming out. I got an episode, I think, going to drop tomorrow if we're on time. And I got in next week, I'm going to be doing an interview. You'll see an interview with one of the partners of mine in the education company, Katerina Stefanova. I still have a hard time pronouncing her name. Anyways, so I did an interview with her that's going to be on there. That should be really interesting. Russian immigrant, came from, owning one rental to now owns a real big mobile home park portfolio. So I did a pretty interesting interview with her, and I think you're going to get a lot out of that. And that's going to be on the YouTube channel as well. That's not a podcast. That's just YouTube. We were all together in Charleston. I don't know if you guys know who Tim Bratz is, but I'm in his mastermind, the Legacy Family Mastermind. And I went up there to do, the three of us went up there to do a recording, because we're doing like a training inside of this awesome platform that he's creating. And I was on his podcast, and I went, E, we've never done a interview. I'd love to put you on the YouTube channel so they can all learn from your experience. And so we did it. It's pretty cool. It's very laid back, and I think you're going to get a lot out of that. So check that out. Hey guys, if you're on the YouTube channel, make sure to hit subscribe, because that is where you're going to get notified every time I do a live or anytime new episodes come out, things like that. Anyways, if you're on any other platform but YouTube, jump over to mariodatillo.tv and chat with me. Tell me what you guys got going on, what questions you've got. And yeah, I agree, Emma. E is a rock star. So she's actually the founder of the MHP tribe, and she made it pretty awesome. So I'm excited to be a part of that. I've been part of it for a while. Hey, we've got Sophie. What's happening? She said, first time watching, welcome. Hey, thank you for watching, and hopefully I can add a ton of value to you. But flipping an old property into a park, initially, can you do multi-year agreement? And then can you raise the rent just like single family house rentals? And by how much? Thank you. Awesome. I love the questions. Those are super good, by the way. So I believe what you're asking me is, can you buy a mobile home and then bring it into a park and then turn around and sell that home inside the park? You can drop in the chat if that's not what you're asking, but I believe that's what you're asking. So you can take a used home and bring it into a park, fix it up, and then sell it. We do it. Yes, we do that. And it's really more for a cash flow standpoint. I was talking about this earlier, but yeah, rent spaces only, correct. So I'm pulling back up your question so I can answer the second and third part. But yes, so what we do is we buy the home. We don't buy from other parks, like we won't go to a resident in another park, buy their home, and then snag it and pull it over to ours. There's kind of like this secret code in mobile home park world that if you do that, they will fight back so hard and they'll empty out your park. So we don't do that, but we do buy homes from other owners, especially on private land, and then we bring it into the park. We set it up, we fix it up, and then our sales manager sells it to a resident, and then they pay us lot rent, and it's pretty awesome. So then we start collecting lot rent, and that's where we spike the value in the properties. Because, see you, Kyle. Thanks, dude. Hey, thank you for subscribing. Thanks. Cool. Yeah. Hey, glad you got some value out of this, and yeah. So, anyways, second part of that. So, finish up. Yes, they pay us lot rent. Then we take the cash flow, and that's valued on a cap rate. So it's like a multiple. So if we've got $1 of cash flow added, there's a multiple on that. So it might be worth $12, $13, $14 in value, depending on the cap rate that's applied to it. So it's huge money in that sense. And then you said multi-year agreement. It depends on the state. There's different laws for each state with mobile home parks and what kind of leases you can do. Because we're buying the home, we're bringing it in, setting it up. Those homes really don't move much. It's very expensive to move a home. People don't realize that it's thousands of dollars to move and then thousands of dollars to set up. So mobile homes really aren't that mobile. And so 1 year lease is typically normal. We do an agreement with the buyer of the home that says they will not move that home out for a certain number of years. But it's usually like a 5 year, 4 year, whatever the state allows us to do. And that kind of gives us that not only control, it's less about control, it's more about that will weed out the buyers that are just trying to buy a home and move it. And it works. We haven't had an issue with that really. But And then also, can you raise rent just like single family house rentals, and by how much? So Sophie, the answer to that is it depends. Depends on the state. So like Florida, you can raise rents one time a year, and you have to give them 90-day notice, written notice, and there's certain verbiage you need to throw in there. Georgia, you can raise as many times as you want as long as you give them, I believe it's 60, I think it's 30 or 60 days in Georgia. It's kind of the wild, wild west there. And Minnesota, we own in Minnesota as well. That's a 60-day notice, and you can raise rent twice a year. So it really just depends on the state. None of the states that we're in have any sort of rent control or restriction from a dollar amount standpoint or percentage standpoint. And I'd highly recommend that you avoid states that have that. It's just government getting in the way and stopping free, the free economy. And so I would highly recommend not buying in states like that. And then I think I answered your last question. Yeah, I think I answered it. So yeah, hopefully I was able to get some questions answered for you. If you got any more, make sure to ask them. You said Texas. We own self-storage in Texas. We do not own any mobile home parks there right now, but I've made offers on, a lot. Made offers on a lot of parks in Texas. Almost bought one near, what was that? It was Eastern Texas. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah, we love Texas. So I'd be curious to know where you're chiming in from, Sophie. All right, guys, if you guys got questions, I want to make sure to get them answered here. Sophie, Kyle, you guys had some great questions. Emma, you had awesome questions. Keep them coming, and love to answer them. We'll go a little bit longer here. And if you guys are watching this from Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, make sure to jump over to mariodatillo.tv, and that's my YouTube channel. And that way you get a much better stream, and I can answer your questions live. I cannot see your questions over on those other platforms real time. Last week, I hopped off, looked at Facebook, and went, whoa, there was a bunch of questions there that I didn't get to because I didn't see them until I got off. So, all right. So yeah, we definitely have some people watching live here. Jump over to mariodatillo.tv. If you guys got real estate questions, hit me. I want to answer them. I'll open up the Komodo, as one of my mentors calls it, and I'll tell you what you need to know, or kind of how we do things, or whatever. No secrets here. I want to make sure that I'm helping you guys grow. So I'd be curious if any of you guys are investing in single family homes, apartment buildings, mobile home parks, self-storage, and kind of what you're liking about it or what you're not liking about it, or if you're looking for a new property type. Happy to chime in and give you my thoughts on it. My opinions are my opinions alone, not legal advice, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so just ended Q2. I'm sorry, just started Q2. We just did our quarterly meeting, and we've got kind of some big initiatives this year that we're working on within our company. One of them is sales. And so Q1, we said, all right, this year we're gonna master sales, home sales. We're gonna master home renovations, okay? And we're gonna master titles, which are all three major functions of our company. And when I say master, I mean really systemize, really get things honed in. We had to hire a couple of people, which thankfully in Q1, we were so charged up about those initiatives that we went and hired a project manager. We hired a new sales manager. We've got a project management software that's being implemented right now. Also, if you guys have any project management softwares that you'd like, drop them in the chat. I'd like to hear what you're using, what you like or don't like about it. But we decided to implement Monday, and I'm not, advertising for them or anything, but so far so good. We got a programmer building that out for us. But yeah, we wanted to scale, and it's going really well so far. But anyways, yeah, the titles, I just put out an episode on my YouTube channel it goes out, I think it's going to go out tomorrow if we get it out on time. And that is about one of the biggest headaches that mobile home park investors do not know about. They're just not being told about it. And, all these guys out putting out education and training and everything, they don't talk about titles. They never talk about it. And, it's interesting how many people that even I talk to, and I tell them, we invest in mobile home parks. Like, oh yeah, those things are so easy. You just own the dirt and you just, collect lot rent and you don't have to do much. It's like cash machine, and that's kind of that's what a lot of educators and people with courses kind of do in the MHP space for whatever reason. They don't tell you about a lot of the headaches that you're going to have. And it's important to know what your risks are, what your opportunities are, but also what challenges you're going to go through, what you're going to have to figure out. And one of those huge challenges that every single park owner that I know after they've bought a park, they talk about is titles, mobile home titles. So I decided that it was about time to come out with an episode that kind of cracks that shell open, and you can kind of get some ideas on how to master that part of the business, because it is a really big pain in the butt. Like, there's no other way to put it. It just sucks. So that's what the episode is going to be out. We're going to be talking about this week, and I am sure you're going to get a lot out of it. But hey guys, if you're just hopping in, I see people hopping on. Make sure to jump over to mariodatillo.tv. That's the YouTube channel. And I can answer your questions live from there. You'll also get a much better feed there, and it won't be lagged like it is on the other platforms. So mariodatillo.tv. And while you're at it, do me a favor, subscribe. It's going to make sure that you get notified every time we do lives, every time I put out episodes. You will be in tune with what's happening in the commercial real estate and mobile home park and self-storage and every other property type world, because that's what I talk about on my YouTube channel, mostly mobile home parks. But all right, so what questions you guys have? I want to make sure to get them answered. We've had some really good questions so far. Let's see here. So where are you investing right now? We own in Florida, Georgia, Minnesota, Texas, and we are closing on an asset, if everything finishes up smoothly, in Pennsylvania. I had to think about that. So we're buying our first community in Pennsylvania, and pretty pumped about that. Wrapping up due diligence. We just have to get one more environmental report back, and then we should be golden. And that is a turnaround mobile home park. It's got well and city sewer. This will be our first well community that we're going to keep on well. We've bought private utility communities that we've converted over to public before, which is a major infrastructure project. But in this case, we are going to, let's see here. I think I just got a question that popped up from Joe, but I cannot see it because he's not on YouTube. So check out the mariodatillo.tv. Hop over there and make sure to drop your questions in the chat. I want to definitely connect with you and talk to you, Joe. Anyways, so we're working on that deal. We are going to keep it as a well and keep the sewer system. Sewers is public, so it's in good shape. And really excited about that deal. It's a good sized deal. I think we're buying it at a good price, and we are going to be adding a lot of value to that. I just got another question in. What does this say? Emma, what's going on, Emma? Thank you. How have the tax readjustments been treating you after acquisition? So great question. And that brings up another topic that you guys probably want to know about. And I'll get to that after Emma's question. But yeah, so we always project the taxes are going to go up after we buy a property. And that's a really important step in due diligence, to make sure that when you are underwriting a deal, that you spend a lot of time with all the numbers, but you need to actually call and talk to the property appraiser, and specifically the property appraiser that appraises the property type that you're buying. So for us, if it's a mobile home park, I'm going to call that property appraiser's office. I'm going to say, hey, who does the tax appraiser, the property appraisals, my tongue's tied tonight, on mobile home parks? And it's a commercial appraiser. It's not the same appraiser that does your single family home. And then I will talk to that appraiser directly, and I'll say, look, if we're buying a community in your county, sometimes I'll even tell them the property is not that big of a deal. Some people are afraid to do that, but I tell them. And I say, look, if I'm buying this property, where the tax is going after we close on it. Of course, I don't tell them what we're paying, but I usually throw out kind of an example. Be like, hey, if we're paying $100,000 for this, which we're obviously paying a lot more than that, but what is the what's the taxes going to go to? How do you guys calculate this? Is really what I'm trying to get out of them. I want to know the math equation that they're using in a conservative way so that I can then project where the taxes are going after the fact. And I'm just blunt with them. I'm just like, hey, we're buying this and we want to know where the taxes are going to be in a year or two after we buy it. So if we wait and find out, we could get hurt. And we just need to know how you guys look at this. So make sure if you're buying any commercial real estate that you are talking to the property appraiser at the appraiser's office that does at the county that does that property type specifically, and just find out the math, the math on it so that you can project properly. So typically we have not had a huge problem with the taxes going up really aggressively. We usually estimate pretty conservatively, but there has been a few times, whether it's shortly after purchase or even a few years after purchase, that all of a sudden the appraiser gets frisky and decides they want to jack up the tax on us. And what we do is we hire professionals to negotiate the tax down. A lot of people don't realize that property taxes are kind of negotiable. And so if you don't know that and they jack up the property tax on you and you're not fighting them, you're crazy. You're losing money for nothing. You're burning money. Usually what we will do is we'll hire a tax consultant, they're called, and they basically just contact the county and they start negotiating with them. And then they will go and do their own comps. They'll go out and do their own numbers, and then they'll bring it to them. And then if it has to go to a committee, then they will be the ones to negotiate that. And what's best about it is they're straight commission. So they only get paid if they get a reduction. And it's usually a percentage of how much they save you in that first year, which if you think about it, that's huge, because if they save you, let's say they charge you 20%. And I off the top of my head, I can't remember what they've charged us. We've only had to do it a couple times. But if, let's say you have to pay them 20, 25% or whatever of whatever you saved on the taxes, even if it's 30, 40%, that's a huge savings, number one. Number two, year two, those taxes aren't going to spike up again. They're set. They're going to be relatively low again. So now you've made up a lot more on year two. So I highly recommend, if you are buying property and the taxes jump up on you, be sure to hire somebody that, sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the chat stuff, but yeah, make sure that you're hiring a consultant to go and negotiate your your property taxes. You'll save a lot of money. I mean, we've only done it when the tax hike has been like $10,000+ over what we think it should be. Then we're like, all right, it's definitely worth it to go through all the hoops to make that happen. So great question, Emma. And that leads me to another point that has been a real thorn on our sides. And I'm curious to know if anybody else is having issues with this as well, but insurance. Insurance rates have just gone crazy. The insurance companies are in a whirlwind right now. Several of them are getting out of certain markets. It's really very surprising. And so insurance has just been bonkers. We've had several renewals. Interesting. We have a self-storage facility that we're refinancing it with a life company right now. And the insurance happens to renew right around the same time. And the insurance, I don't want to throw out any numbers, but put it this way. Our insurance, the quotes have went from anywhere from 5 times, like 5x, to more than 3x to 5x. That's huge. So if let's say you're paying $20,000 in taxes, means now you got a $60,000 quote for insurance, or $100,000. And those are actually pretty darn close to what our quotes were. It's just unreal how crazy insurance has got right now, gone this year. And a lot of that has to do with catastrophic events over the last few years, just higher risk in general. I'm being told, and also they don't have to compete as much, and so it's pretty interesting. Still in the battles right now on actually 2 properties, and so hopefully we can get good policies here pretty quick. Hey guys, if you got questions, drop them in the chat. I want to make sure I get those answered for you. We've had some really good questions so far, so thank you. And I'll stay on for just a few more minutes and make sure that I get all the questions answered. If you're not on the YouTube side, jump over to mariodatillo.tv and get a much cleaner stream, and I can answer your questions live there. What's up, Ryan? How's it going, man? Look, guys, if you got questions, drop them in the chat over at mariodatillo.tv. Watch it live. I'm answering real estate questions, mobile home park, self-storage, any apartments, any kind of real estate, single family, flipping, wholesaling. Done a lot of that, so happy to answer any questions on that stuff too. But happy to have you guys on. So anyways, insurance, taxes, big issues. And when you think about it, there's only a few expenses that you're out of control on, like you do not have control on. One of those is property taxes. One of them is utility bills. You don't really have 100% control on those because it's based on usage and obviously rates. You don't have control on, so property taxes, insurance, utility bills. That's those are your variables. I'm probably missing something else, but there's not a lot of variable expenses. And if you can get those under control, all the other expenses are fairly predictable. I mean, when we're underwriting deals, if I know what the utilities are, the taxes, insurance, for the most part, I can model out a deal for 10-year model pretty easily. Just got another question here. Have you used cost segregation on any of your properties? So we have not used a cost seg consultant. Our CPA does some of that, and she's broken out the values in that way, and she breaks out the improvements versus the land, and I think we've done pretty well with it. I'd like to try out. There's a couple big guys out there doing that, and we will try them on one of the deals going forward here, but we haven't in the past. Great question though, Emma. So yeah, insurance, taxes, super big issues. And I'd also like to know, what are you guys buying right now? Like, what are you trying to buy? What are you looking at? What are you investing in, or what have you invested in? And has it been successful or not successful for you? Love to hear it, or where you're chiming in from would be cool too. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to also mention, got that podcast coming out in May. Tune into that. I think you guys are going to get a lot of information from great people starting businesses, building real estate portfolios. If you guys were on earlier and I mentioned it, sorry, I'm not trying to repeat myself, but there's just a bunch of new people on that wanted to let know. So chime into that podcast starting May 1st. And I'm going to bring on some really interesting people, and I promise you it's going to add a lot of value. You're going to get a lot out of it. But so check that out. And if you guys know anybody, this is kind of crazy to put this out on a live video, but if you know anybody that has property management experience that would be a good administrative assistant, send them my way. Private message me for that. And I'd love to give somebody a really good opportunity. We are hiring for that role. It's an administrative assistant that ideally has some property management background. Send them my way. I would greatly appreciate it. So wrapping up here in just the next couple of minutes, if you guys have any questions, you can drop them in the chat, and I will answer them before I hop off. And you got to do it at mariodatillo.tv so I can see it real time. But we put out an offer on a commercial building, a retail building recently, which is not our typical business model. And we offered on that last week. And I think we're going to come to terms tomorrow, hopefully, on price and terms, meaning we're going to sign an LOI tomorrow, I hope. And we're going to see where that goes. So that should be interesting. And want to make sure that everybody knows, if you guys are looking at mobile home parks and you want some insight on it, you want to get maybe a second opinion, I'd highly recommend you jump over to mhptribe.com, and I'll put that in the in the description on the YouTube video, but mhptribe.com, or join the MHP Tribe Facebook group. And that is a group of mobile home park investors. We do a call live on Zoom every Monday night with just a bunch of park operators, new and very experienced. We answer questions. We help, look at deals and all that. And if you guys got a park that you're looking to buy, maybe don't have the capital or need somebody with a lot of management experience, hit me up. I'd love to do deals with you guys. The acquisition manager, junior acquisition manager, is something that I'm also hiring for. We're building our team pretty aggressively right now. So our junior acquisition manager is someone who's just very good with people, very good on the phones, but doesn't necessarily have commercial real estate background. And I'm also hiring a senior acquisition manager, and that would be somebody who's got commercial real estate background that can jump up to that level right away. But the whole goal is to take that junior acquisition manager, move them up to a senior. And what's cool about those, the senior acquisition manager, is they actually get ownership opportunities in the communities that they source. So some huge opportunities for people in our company right now. So we'd love to hear from you or anybody that's looking for an opportunity. So I'm going to wrap this up. I really appreciate you guys joining me, and I've had a lot of fun, and I hope I've answered some of your questions and you've gotten a lot of value out of this. So jump over to mariodattilo.tv, subscribe there, and I'm going to be doing live probably again on might even do Thursday or Friday. We'll see. But talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.